guys, welcome back to another episode of Samara's Kitchen. Today we are going to be making my version of bruschetta. Let's cook. The ingredients we are using today are 6 plum tomatoes, 1 loaf of French or Italian bread, about 10 leaves of basil, dried basil, salt and pepper, about 3 cloves of garlic, spray olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and balsamic vinaigrette. Let's get cooking. So to get started, we're gonna start medium dicing our tomatoes. So first we're just gonna cut in slices. It's really important to make sure that you have permission to use a knife or supervision if you're not used to using it, especially because with sharp knives, it's better actually to use while cutting tomatoes, because even though you think that it would be more dangerous to use a sharper knife, with more dull knives it's easier for it to slip and cut yourself. So even sometimes I get scared with using, so I have a finger guard, and you just put it on your finger, and then while you're cutting you can just go down and cut it so that way you can get your fingers out of the way. And I also have a glove that is cut proof, so even though you know, you still have to be cautious because it's not completely safe, it still can prevent you from getting cuts. So I use both of these. Okay, so now that we have it in slices, we can start to get our cross cut. And depending on how big you want them, you can either medium dice to make them about like this, or make them a little bit smaller or bigger, depending on how big your bread is and just how you like the texture of the size. So now we're just gonna do this for the rest of the tomatoes. So now that we've diced our tomatoes, we can put them in a large bowl, and then we're going to season them with salt and pepper. So now we're just gonna cut the basil. So I'm just putting them on top of each other, and then I'm gonna roll them and do chiffonade, which is basically just in ribbons, like this. And then now we're just gonna chop it to make the pieces smaller. Notice that your cutting board is kind of moving around. Then one trick that you can do is to get a wet towel and just place it right underneath where your cutting board is, and then it doesn't really move, and it's safer when you're cutting. So to start with our garlic, it can be kind of hard to take the paper off of it for anyone. So today we're gonna try this easy hack and see if we shake this in a container with the lid on, if all the paper will come off. So to get it started, I'm just gonna cut the root end off of the garlic, because the paper can get sticky and hard to peel off. So hopefully this trick works. So we're just gonna put this in. pick it up, see if it works. Okay, let's see if it worked. Oh, okay. So on this one, it kind of came off a little bit. I mean, not really. There's still kind of a whole bunch of paper. This one, it came off like a little bit. And this one didn't really at all. So, fail. So one way I know works is to take the garlic that didn't work with the other hack and take this and then just pound it out and do it one more time. And you can just peel it off in one. And it's a lot easier. So now we can just finally mince the garlic. And you can use more or less garlic to your liking. So now I'm just gonna add in my garlic and our basil. Some olive oil. Now we can stir to see if you want to add a little bit more or less. So one thing I always do is at the end, I save the balsamic for to put in at the end, so that way if I end up putting in too much, then you know, you can't really go back. So just put in a little bit at a time and taste in between. And don't forget to use a tasting spoon. So now that we're done with our bruschetta, we can start cutting our bread. So we're just going to cut the end off because I mean it's like too small to use. And now we're just going to cut it into rounds. So we have our oven preheating at 300 degrees. Now we can just place our rounds on a wire rack. So now we're going to spray it with olive oil and season with salt. So now we're just going to put this in for about 2 or 3 minutes and check it because my dad always burns it and we have to make it again. 2 minutes. So our bread is done. To toast it, we ended up putting it in for 5 minutes and 1 minute under the broiler to get them nice and crisp. Now that we're ready to plate, we're just gonna present on the slate food board. And then we're just gonna put our bread down like this. And now we can scoop some of our bruschetta that we made onto the bread, like so, for each one. So there you have it, my take on a classic Italian appetizer, bruschetta. I know it looks like we made a lot, but at my house, whenever we put it out, it goes by like that. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and follow me on Instagram at Samara's Kitchen. Bye. Kitchen is for creating.